Thank you and welcome to everybody. Welcome to this spiritually delicious hour. It is time for our checkup, our spiritual checkup on a weekly basis. There's an additional reading I'd like to bring to you in the science of mind. You know, you heard that it is a correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelation of religion apply to human need and the aspirations of humankind. So I want to take you to page 422 in the Science of Mind. And Dr. Holmes writes that he says, we comprehend the infinite only to the degree that it expresses itself through us, becoming to us that which we believe it to be. It's an interesting statement because it is done unto you as you believe, goes right along with that. It says law of life is a law of thought, an activity in consciousness. The power flows through us because when we use our minds, we are opening the door to have something flow into our lives. The Spirit can do for us only what it can do through us. Unless we are able to provide the consciousness, it cannot make the gift. See, we have to prepare. We have to be willing to receive the gift, or it would be sitting outside of our lives. The Spirit can do for us only what it can do through us. Unless we are able to provide the consciousness, it cannot make the gift. The power behind all things is without limit. But in working for us, it must work through us. God doesn't put something outside of us and say, here, I've provided this for you. No, it is provided through us. We become the channel. We become the place where it begins to manifest. The science of mind can do for us only what it can do through us. That's the Spirit too. Unless we are able to provide the consciousness, it cannot make the gift. So listen to some real wisdom here. And I quote, it must become operative through our own thought. What we need is not some greater power, but a greater consciousness, a deeper realization of life, a more sublime concept of being, a more intimate concept of an already indwelling God who is personal to us by virtue of being personified through us. That's a powerful statement because that gives us the responsibility of and for the demonstrations that take place in our life. That's on page 144 of the Science of Mind. The Spirit can do for us only what it can do through us. This implies some action on our part. How available do we make ourselves? How available are our minds and our thought patterns so that we can be inspired, so that Spirit can work through us? It seems to me, given such a choice, it would be supremely wise to truly become a compassionate conduit, a vessel for the wisdom and power of Spirit to do through us, to do for us, also by working through us, through me. I have to look for that for me too, everybody. In the Science of Mind, it says, thought force is a movement of consciousness in a field of mechanical but intelligent law. So thought force is operating through a law, a spiritual law, an intelligent law. The movement of consciousness upon itself creates a motion or vibration upon substance. the force of which is equal to the embodiment of the thought set in motion. So what we set in motion has enough energy in it to produce a manifestation for ourselves. We do that with our minds. When we think about something and we focus on that thing, something begins to respond. When we think, it's like calling to something to come to us, to manifest in our lives. So isn't it careful, isn't it smart to watch how we are thinking, what we're allowing to fester in our thoughts, what we constantly repeat? A lot of people spend most of their lives repeating things that they don't like. And it has to be most of your life, because every time you repeat something, it is in your life again. And if you do it for life, it's going to be repeated in your life again. So don't brood over things you don't like, because that is the way to keep it with you. It's not the way to get rid of it. You cannot get rid of something that you don't like if you continually think about it, talk to yourself about it, and ponder upon it. Now you have found, and it has found an opening to manifest itself more and more powerfully through your life. In Science of Mind, it says thought force is a movement of consciousness in a field of mechanical but intelligent law. It works like a mechanical instrument, but it is a law that works like that. The movement of consciousness upon itself creates a motion or vibration upon substance. And Holmes made sure to capitalize substance, because that's the unmanifest, the force of which is equal to the embodiment of the thought set in motion. So what happens is there is a substance, an unformed substance, waiting to take form, and it takes form by our thought, our thinking. It begins to take form, and it must and will manifest into our lives. That's the law. That's the way it is designed, because we embodied the power to speak our life into form. Everything that happens in the objective world, Holmes says, for everything that happens in the objective world, there must be something in the subjective world which perfectly balances it. So anything that is seeable experientially is a manifestation of something that is in the invisible realm. And in that invisible realm is where our thought begin to give it shape, size, and energy. When we engage ourselves, our lives, our thoughts, and our emotions, then spirit jumps into action. Action for our highest expression of goodness, wholeness, beauty, fulfillment, and happiness, right there waiting for us to initiate a movement, to open the door for it, to open our minds for it, to open our lives for it. And we don't have it experientially because we have not paid attention to the power of life within us, to the power to speak our word into form. It says thought force is a movement of consciousness in a field of mechanical and intelligent law. That's page 141. Law of life is a law of thought, an activity of consciousness. The law of thought is an activity of consciousness. If you're not conscious of that, become aware now. Because when you think, you're activating consciousness, the power that flows through us. The power behind all things is without limit. There's no limit to the power behind all things. But in working for us, it must work through us. It doesn't work to us, it works through us. The Spirit can do for us only what it can do through us. A conduit is a channel through which something, some substance passes or flows. and we become channels to the experience that we think about. So what is the something which is currently passing through you now? What is that? Whatever is making you happy, it's serving in a way to awaken humanity to their spiritual magnificence. If that's what you're doing, serving in a way that wakes up humanity to its spiritual magnificence, that power that you have ignited for that to happen is going to pass through you. You will discover ways and means to be a presence, to be a channel for that kind of good to manifest. You see, lasting happiness comes out of a spiritually centered life that awakens humanity to something beyond their current state of mental affairs, mental awareness. That's lasting happiness. It's not like having a nice drink and you become a little intoxicated and you feel happy. That's artificial. Happiness, when it comes truly from the center of your being, without any mechanical stimulation, is the lasting kind. That's the kind that keeps you happy. God becomes active and motivated when we are in the spirit of and by our spiritual awakening to our own greatness. God, being omnipresent, cannot be absent. God is infinite goodness, unconditional love, infinite intelligence, and omnipotent power. God is all there is. The rest we made up. We have to stop making up stuff that doesn't serve us, that doesn't work for us. This is why what happens when we are motivated by these qualities, divine qualities, and set an intention followed by action, then God becomes motivated also. We set something in motion, motion active with you. And you cannot fail if you can become the best, if you are working on the best of you. And you may not have to know what yet is the best of you. You can allow that discovery to emerge from within you. If you can grow into a God-centered presence of goodness, you know what will happen? The best of you will start showing up. If you think you've already experienced the best of you, wait until you see what God has waiting for you in his pocket, just waiting to dish it out. Make your life a wonderful journey of love and goodness, godness, that touches lives and changes hearts. I encourage you to try that. Try an experiment. Say go for 30 days and see if your life isn't changed permanently for the better. Be a blessing in the world and you will live a long and happy life. Do it well. Do it for the right reasons, and do it because it is urging you to do that's the best of you. Do it consistently, and then watch your world change for the better in surprising ways. Enter now into the joy of living, aliveness, and sharing with the divine presence the goodness of life. You are being called for that, or else you wouldn't be on this planet, on this program right now. You wouldn't be listening to me say things like this if you were not intended to be a part of this wonderful thing that is trying to be triggered into action. This thing called good, happy life is waiting for you. Divine action is through the compassionate conduit. Are you a compassionate conduit through which the goodness of life and love can be manifested and expressed to humanity. I'm not asking you to go be a missionary. I'm asking you to make a mission out of being a conduit for the goodness of life. And you will be a blessing to everyone you meet. Everyone who meets you will bless you. Everyone you meet, you will bless. That's the way it works. Because that's how I believe the divine, if there's a divine plan, and I don't think that God predestinated anything for us. I believe that God wanted to express itself through us in our uniqueness. Everyone is different in a certain way, and your specialness is needed. Don't let the world go missing your specialness. Don't let the world move forward without contributing your specialness, your uniqueness, your godness. We say goodness, godness. So I bless you and I thank you for listening. And I believe that life can change to the better, for the better, for you right now. And so it is. Namaste. And in this treatment, whatever you would like to change, whatever you would like to see happen for you, I want you to be able to take a moment and put that into the treatment for dismissal so that it goes away from your life, so that you are able to, it's not going to walk out by itself. You have to kick it out. You have to put it away. So with your eyes closed and your heart opened and your mind open, join me in remembering that God is present. Not simply because God is omnipresent, but because we know that God is infinite love, unconditional love, infinite wisdom, omnipotent power. And these qualities of the divine individualize itself in each of us. We are made in the image and likeness of that one. And that one presence allows us to call forth those qualities into our daily life. And I declare for each person here right now, should there be anything they would like to release, that they could just open their hands and let it go. Take a moment and open your palms and release whatever it is you have been mentally, emotionally, and physically holding on to that no longer serves you. Let it go and let it fall away into the nothingness from whence it came, knowing that it is being replaced right now with that divine love, that divine knowledge and wisdom, that divine power to sustain a direction in life that allows each of you, each of us, to feel an enhancement each day, that we're becoming more and more aware of our divinity, more and more aware that there is perfection, that there is wholeness, there is happiness and joy to be experienced. I give thanks for the power of the spoken word, because I know it is done unto us as we believe. And I release these words to this immutable power that knows how to make this happen. I turn it over, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. God is total knowledge and knows the end before the beginning, because God is perfect wholeness. So I turn it over into this immutable law, and it is done. and say with me in your mind and heart, and so it is. Amen. Nice. Thank you all for being present. This has been a wonderful hour to spend with you.